pull up a chair and let's slow this down just for a moment. Today I want to talk about something that quietly shapes identity. Being labelled the problem. Being labelled the problem. What if you weren't the difficult one? What if you were simply the one who didn't fit? Have you ever noticed how quickly a label can follow you? And how slowly it leaves? Let's talk about that. Have you ever walked into a room and you could feel like that you needed to behave slightly better than everybody else? Have you ever felt like your tone was monitored more closely? Or that you had to prove you weren't what someone once implied you were? Maybe nobody said it outright, but you could sense it. A shift in the atmosphere. A careful comment. A supple distance. And when that happens repeatedly, well, something forms, doesn't it? You begin carrying a quiet question. Am I the issue here? For a long time, I absorbed that question. There were periods in my life where I was quietly seen as the one to be cautious around, not loudly criticised, not dramatically excluded, just marked. And when you're young, you don't challenge the label. You internalise it. You try to be softer. You try to be more agreeable. You're more careful. You become hyper aware of how you're perceived. Not because you're unstable, no, but because you don't want confirmation of that label. And that kind of vigilance, it's absolutely exhausting. If you're seen as too strong, you soften. If you're seen as too curious, you quieten. If you're seen as a bad influence, you overcorrect. You try to disprove something that may never have been true. Many women, they carry labels that are given to them, probably in their 20s into their 40s and 50s. They still behave in response to old perceptions. They still edit. They're still proving. They're still compensating. But here's something. This is important. Sometimes the label says more about the environment than it actually does about you. With time and distance, I realised something steady. Not everyone who doesn't fit is dysfunctional. Sometimes you simply don't align with a narrow expectation. And when you step outside a tight framework, the framework can feel threatened. Now that doesn't make you dangerous. No. It makes you different. And difference often gets labelled. When you mature, you reflect, you stop defending yourself against an old label, against your nervous system settles. You no longer feel the need to explain constantly. You don't rush to correct every misunderstanding. No. You stop performing. You don't pretend to be innocent. You simply live clearly. And clarity is quieter than defence. Midlife brings that shift. You begin to see which stories were yours and which were assigned to you. And you get to set them down again, closing the way you felt. So if this resonates with you, I genuinely would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever carried a label that didn't feel right? These conversations, they grow, and when more women, they share their experiences, well, it helps. If you find value here today, then you can support the channel by liking and leaving a comment, sharing with a friend and subscribing. And if you'd like to be notified when the next conversation is ready, then just press the bell notification. I'll see you next time at the kitchen table.